Good afternoon. I'm Jason Keith, Chief Operations Officer for Staley Technologies, and I'm sitting here with my dear friend Andrew Faulkner.
Hey, Jason. I'm the CEO of Staley Technologies.
Good afternoon. Today we're talking about kiosks, and it seems like they're everywhere. When I go out to eat, I use a kiosk. When I'm at a hotel, I'm using a kiosk. I was even at a manufacturing company yesterday, and they're using kiosks to help their employees get their tooling they needed on the floor. But it wasn't always that way. And I think Staley Technologies had a very early start in kiosks. Could you elaborate about that?
Yeah, sure. You really can't talk about kiosks without talking about self-checkout. Really, self-checkout is the origin story of the kiosk today. And yeah, we've been involved in self-checkout and kiosks from the early days. In fact, I remember the first kind of kiosk / self-checkout we ever did was years ago in a very large retailer, worldwide retailer that had a large fast food chain in multiple sites of it. And the fast food chain wanted their customers to order on a kiosk, and the order would get sent back to the cooks, and the cooks would cook the meal, and then they would put the bag of food on a conveyor belt, which would then move the food up to the front of the store for the customer to pick up. So I mean, it's kind of things have changed dramatically since that years ago, the one that we did there, and today they are extremely intuitive, very interactive, small profile. And quite frankly, a whole lot less expensive too, which is a good thing for the customer.
So that's a great story. And what was the initial reaction from the end users using it? Were they delighted? Were they a little nervous?
I think there's always some nerves going into it the first time you use a kiosk. I mean, I think that's even today. I remember the first time I walked up to a kiosk at an airport. Your anxiety level's already there because you're traveling with, you might have your wife and kids with you. It's already kind of hectic.
What did I forget to pack? It's
exactly.
It's the whole thing.
And I remember walking up to those kiosks for the first time at an airline and really not wanting to do it, really just wanting to skip the kiosks and go straight to the desk and do what I needed to do there. But the airline made me do the kiosk. They said I had to do the kiosk. And you know what? There was some anxiety at first, but it went very, very smoothly. And I think that kind of helps get over that anxiety. And I think there's a lot of people in the country that have had those similar experiences. And today, I'm not as anxious going up to a kiosk, and I think a lot of people can say that.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm seeing them everywhere. Again, I was at a self-checkout at a retailer the other day, and you're the same thing. You're kind of nervous. You're scanning, and you run into an error, and you're like, "Well, what did I do?" And the first thing I do is panic. But then next thing, you read the instructions. The little help comes up right on the thing, and it's very intuitive. You're like, "Hey, this is what you did wrong. You placed something in the cart. You didn't scan it. You thought you scanned it, but you didn't. You scanned the wrong barcode." And I just was very quickly able to correct my own mistake and move right along. So again, I'm with you. As soon as you get past the initial nervousness, it kind of changes everything.
Yeah, no, you're right. And it wasn't always like that. I remember going through self-checkout several years ago, and the machine would just kind of stop when there was an error. And then somebody would have to come over that worked there and kind of help clear the error for you. And it wasn't very customer friendly on telling the customer what to do to fix the error. Now, they've come a long way and having the customers fix the errors as they go instead of having somebody there, that works there that has to fix the error themselves. But, at the end of the day, I think kiosks and self-checkout, it's for retailers especially, and in the hospitality industry, it's a huge labor savings for them. And throughout COVID, you saw that kiosks explode quite a bit in popularity. Because of labor shortages at different retailers and at different fast food chains especially. And so the technology itself had to kind of get on a fast track and become more intuitive and more put more of the control in the customer's hands as far as just how to correct an error or moving efficiently through the process. And that really, went on a fast track during COVID especially.
No, that makes sense. Have we seen any technology changes? We talked a lot about how the kiosks have been used for self-checkout and point of sales. Have we seen any technology shifts where maybe there's a transition from online ordering, which has also been huge in the last several years, just exploded to, all right, I've ordered it online, but I want it today. Is there anything that helps make that whole process less friction-free?
Yeah, we've actually got experience. We did a project for a large home improvement chain here in the U.S. Where they had, if you ordered something online on their website and you told the site that you wanted to pick it up at the store, which typically meant it would be free to pick up. This particular customer of ours in the past would have the customer come into the store. They would then go into the customer service line in the store and have to wait in line until they got up to the desk and then would tell the customer representative who they were and what they were there to pick up and that they had ordered it online. And then they would get kind of shuffled over to the side and, whether they ordered a lawnmower or hedge trimmers or whatever it was, they'd have to wait for that then to come from the very back warehouse, and they would find them. And so it was like this really, really long process.
Makes you really wonder why you even bothered to order it online, it sounds like,
exactly.
Right? Like I could have just went and got it off the shelf and saved some time.
100% true.
So what does it look like today?
So today what we helped this particular customer with was they put in a online order pickup kiosk. And so now, today, when you order online, you get emailed a QR code, and you go into that particular store, and you go up to the online order pickup kiosk, and you scan your code, and it automatically sends a signal back to the warehouse, and they bring up your lawnmower, your clippers, or whatever else, and you're not even clogging up the customer service line or having kind of that not so fun experience within the store. Which is huge for the retailer today.
No, it sounds like, because that sounds like another added benefit, because the story you painted was, hey, the customer doesn't have to interact unnecessarily with somebody who's taking care of clients, so they can just come up to the kiosk and somebody knows to bring them their goods. So meanwhile, customers who actually do need help from a face-to-face person, it's making that whole process smoother too, because they're not waiting in line. So everybody wins. It's not just the people that ordered online. Everybody gets a better interaction.
Exactly. And the customer service rep is actually dealing with true customer service issues, whether it's a return or something else going on. What they're doing and how they're interacting with the customer is more in line with what they were hired to do and what they're supposed to be doing versus just taking names, essentially, is what they were doing before. Now the kiosk just does it.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. So that's a great story of how at least one group is using this technology to really streamline their operations. What do you think's next? Where do we go from the next iteration of kiosks? What's it look like?
Well, I tell you, I think what we're going to see is a whole lot more in just the customer experience department and personalization and AI, right? So today, if you got on, your favorite fast food chain app, if you've got that on your phone, it's pretty common today to where you can reorder what your favorite meal is or what you ordered last time, and you do all that through the app. So what's next is, when you're actually entering a store, a kiosk knows that Andrew has entered the store. And when I walk up to the kiosk, it welcomes Andrew to the kiosk. It says my name. And it asks me on the kiosk screen if I want to reorder what I ordered last time. And that might have been online on the app or not, or through the drive-thru even. So it's keeping up. It's first of all, making it a better customer experience. It's personalizing, it's showing loyalty to the customer, and it's making the customer feel special. And in the kitchen, it's also making it more efficient. It's making the orders hit the kitchen quicker, and they get their food faster that way as well.
That sounds like a great benefit. It'd be really useful for someone like me who's always tasked with going to get the family's food.
Yeah.
And I get there and I can never remember exactly what everybody ordered, what I was supposed to get in the special request. So I personally am looking really forward to that next iteration. Andrew, over the years, we've installed thousands of kiosks for dozens and dozens of clients. What are some of the biggest issues or questions that tend to come up over time when people are first getting started?
Yeah, and you're right, Jason. We have installed thousands of kiosks. And I would say there's a couple of common themes that come up with our clients related to kiosks. One is around labor and some labor issues that they might be experiencing. And then the second piece is more around customer experience within their stores. And a kiosk can achieve both of those things. Both of those goals that they're trying to achieve can be done with a kiosk, and it's exciting to work with them around those goals. I think with the labor issues, it's not necessarily an issue around they're wanting to let go of people. It's they have a shortage of people, and they might have a manager that has the most experience out of anyone within the store, that is one of their best customer service people, which is one of their best salespeople, and they find themselves in a position where the manager might be working the cash register a lot of the time, or doing menial tasks that aren't to his or her strengths. And a great thing about a kiosk is that it frees up a lot of your best employees' time to do things that are more profitable for the business, and leave a task like checkout or scanning a catalog or something like that up to the kiosk, which isn't obviously having to be manned. And if it's done right, it's very self-intuitive and easy to work. And so the labor issue is solved, and the customer experience has also helped a lot with that as well, because you've got your employees are now not doing those menial tasks. They're doing things like helping customers out with questions, or helping a sale happen. And so it just, from an overall perspective, it's a win for the client. And we've seen that happen ourselves with whether it's kiosks in a fast food that are helping the customers efficiently come in and order and pay and get their food quick, because it's called fast food for a reason. People typically want to go into those places and quickly order, quickly get their food, and a lot of times leave. And so it's speeding up that process in a fast food. It's helping a retailer with online order pickups, like I discussed earlier. People are coming in because they want to quickly come in, get the product that they ordered online, and leave. And so it's helping that experience out as well. So I would say those are kind of the two drivers that we've seen the most of from our clients with the kiosks.
So Andrew, once you get these kiosks installed, what's next? What's the next big issue after that?
Well, I mean, I think that from experience, and this is just my personal experience going and shopping in places that have kiosks, whether they're our clients or not, is making sure they stay on. I mean, it kind of sounds way too simplistic, but I mean, how many times have you gone into a place and half the self-checkouts are down, and there's an out of order sign on the front of it, or a key, half the kiosks or all the kiosks are out of order,
It happens so much. It's so frustrating.
Or say they can't take payment, or some kind of a error is on the machine. It's happening to the machine. So,
what's the answer? How do you've got the kiosk, then what do you do? What's the difference?
You've got to use a reputable company that's going to partner with you and install it the right way the first time, and then support that particular kiosk or self-checkout after the installation. And it's somebody that you've got to trust that's going to be there when you call. And nothing's perfect. Technology is always going to kind of have quirky stuff, but it's how you answer, it's how you fix the issue, so there's not downtime on the machine. There's a lot of money invested by the client in this technology, and every minute that those machines are down is lost investment dollars. So it's absolutely critical you use a reputable vendor that knows what they're doing and that will take care of you after installation the right way.
Andrew, thanks for joining us. You really know your stuff.
Oh, ditto.
Next time, we'll be talking about service on a national scale.